Hey, it's me, Raj Baddhan here for BizAsiaLive.com. I'm quite excited actually to bring you a special star, as you know, someone that has been promoting his latest film that has emerged as one of his biggest successes ever. I'm talking about the star himself from the movie Khuda Haafiz, which has released on Hotstar, including the UK. It is Vidyut Jammwal who joins me here. Vidyut, how you doing?
Hi Raj, thank you for having me here. I'm quite happy.
I'm sure you will be. I'm sure you're going to be even more happy talking to me, not just quite happy.
That I will decide. My happiness depends on how I feel. So I'll let you know at the end of it.
Okay, let's test this. Okay, let's first talk about the success. And congratulations, by the way, on the movie. It's your biggest ever release. I mean, how amazing is that to release on Hotstar digitally and to have Khuda Haafiz emerging as not just a winner with the critics, but also with the audiences?
Oof, I feel so blessed, man. Finally, I was waiting for this. So what a great response. And I'm so happy that the story connected with the people. Normally, it's always my punch that connects. But for a change, the story really resonated with people. And because it's been inspired from a true story that my director had read in an article in the paper. And yep, quite happy, man. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when the makers approached you for the movie, I mean, was it like a yes straight away, or was it something that you kind of, kind of just dwelled over, thought, you know what, let me just think about this for a few days?
No, the moment he told me that it's a true story and it's not on a sports person or a biopic of an athlete, I was like, yes, sir, I want to play this common man who doesn't know how to fight. So, yep, but it was quite difficult for me to play this guy because he's a true life character and he really never got into a physical fight in his life. And the whole journey of him to get his wife back was quite an ordeal that he went through. So I had to fight like a untrained fighter. So I had to unlearn everything that I had known. So it was quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're away from the Commando days. It's definitely a lot more kind of somber when it comes to your character. So how did you find that? I mean, kind of switching between, switching from what you were as the action manager known as to something a bit more kind of gentle.
No, it was very difficult, man. For me, my first reflex is if somebody like moves also, I'm like this. These are my natural reflexes. But for me, like finally in the movie, the guy Samir I played had to be like, so for me, it was not a natural me. So I remember that there were times when the director had to call out on the mic and say, Vidyut, you're not Vidyut, you're Samir. So like, yeah, all right, I'll get beaten up. So it was quite an experience and I learned so much.
Yeah, I mean, I got to admit, the music is fantastic on the movie. John Bunigay, I told you before that I'm on the radio as well, so I love playing John Bunigay because it is my favorite track. Is that something that you enjoy in that kind of music genre?
No, for me, normally it was knock, knock, tera baap aaya. I'm glad that they moved from Jan Ban Gaye because, yeah, I really, and I love the track. I love the track. I love the way we've shot it. We shot it in a Lucknow, and I believe that Lucknow is a beautiful place. It's the real India, and architecture is nice. I really enjoyed it.
Vicky, I mean, I want to ask you. I mean, the success of the movie we know anyway. It's been received, overwhelmingly by fans around the world. But do you wish that the film would have released on the big screen? I mean, what's your take on obviously getting a digital release instead?
I would have loved it to release in a theater because that's how we had made the movie, and that's how we wanted to present it as a theatrical release. But the whole world is going through this, and I couldn't be selfish. Like, our movie was ready and we had to decide that should we wait, because I personally believe after this whole episode of lockdown gets over, India is going through a very tough time. The whole world is, people don't have jobs. So I didn't want to be selfish and say, oh, they will not have money, but they would go for my movie. So I was quite glad when I had an option to choose between a OTT and a theatrical. I think now when I look back, it was quite a good decision because the whole country's watched it. It started with a 9.9 IMBD. That was quite cool. So yeah, quite happy, man. And I feel blessed. But the things that I miss is like when you go to watch it in a theater, the whistling and the way people shout. And there are scenes which are like really heroic in it. Like when the guy comes in, for example, uh, that I miss. The other
Yeah.
part that I miss is where, like, when you go to the cities and when you travel in India and you meet your own fans, that you miss because you get to spend some like time with them. That's the only thing I miss. But I'm quite glad with the release.
I mean, the joys of releasing on digital is obviously you're going into untapped kind of audiences, you know, the audience that may not always go to the cinema to watch a movie. And at the same time, to be getting so much love internationally. I mean, I told you, obviously, Hotstar UK is massive, not just in UK, but also US and Canada. So go into those kind of areas as well. You know, what would you say about your international fans and your audiences
I
here?
love it. I love it. You know, for me, because when I travel abroad and I meet people in relation to action, I feel very proud when they say, "Oh, you know, this guy does the Indian martial art Kalari fight." For example, I feel very proud of me. Like I represent my country like that. So when like you go to these countries, like whether it's the States, you want people to know that, you know, I represent the martial art. You know, Indians should watch it, that this is the guy who does it. They know about it, but they should witness it in their homes now. So I feel proud. Yeah.
So how are you finding the promotion side? Because I know you touched upon it a little bit just earlier. You know, you obviously not being able to do the whole interaction, you know, in person and meeting, you know, people directly. How are you finding the whole social media kind of side of things?
Quite safe to start with, quite safe. But yes, I do miss meeting people. You know, there's so many uh, people who are your friends who are journalists, and you end up meeting them once or twice in a year, and that's the only time you get to meet them because you know them. They review you, they speak to you. So I miss meeting these people. But you do it on Zoom now, but it's not half as fun. I miss meeting the fans. Like I really miss it. Like when you travel to different parts of the country, it's amazing to meet your own people. So quite nice.
And I mean, we talk about the producers, obviously, Panorama. We talk about the studio company. How was it working with them guys, and how the experience working with a giant like that?
Amazing. One of my favorite producers for sure, because the way we decided that we have to get the movie on the OTT platform, it was quite unanimous and it was quite easy. So, you know, once everybody's on the same page, it's much easier. So it was quite good. They had the belief in the true life story when they came to me. For them, it was unusual to offer a role like that to me. So I was quite happy and I took the challenge and it's worked. Quite happy.
It certainly has worked. I do want to talk to you about away from the movie because we know Khuda Haafiz is doing well anyway, and it is available on Hotstar. We'll just give that another plug in the UK as well. I do want to speak to you about lockdown life and how things have changed for you. Are you now happy with the transition, kind of going back to some kind of normality, or are you still quarantined?
No, I'm very excited about the future, by the way, because I know this lockdown is going to get over very soon. It's almost like it's going to end. I just hope people don't start putting those hashtag I miss Corona days or I miss lockdown. I just hope they don't do the shit. Uh, but there's so much that I've done in the last 5 months. It's been quite different and it's been quite unique. So I enjoyed it. But I have a very strong intuition that this is getting over now.
Vidya, there was a question actually from one of your fans, Nisha, saying, "How did you find your working out? Because we know you're you know, a well-built, you know, young and happening guy when it comes to your body. So there's one of your fans, Nisha, wants to know, how did you find the whole kind of quarantine experience, as in the lockdown experience and working out at home?
No, I just started using filters. They're body building apps. You can be in any form, just use that filter and you will be hot and sexy.
Do you know, Vidya, I need to do that as well. I think I need to take one of your tips.
I'm telling you, these filters are really good. People say, "Oh, Vidyut, you're in such good shape." I'm like, no, it's a filter. No, dude, you take like I work out on different forms. Like you don't really necessarily need to do burpees, or you don't really necessarily need to. You can walk. Actually, working out is like going to sleep for like endless hours. I've slept for about 2.5 days. There was one morning I woke up at about 8, and I just felt lazy, so I had a cup of tea, went off to sleep. Then I kept sleeping. Woke up, had a little bit of a meal, went off to sleep. I slept for 2.5 days. I've never done that. I could never believe I could. And after that, that backache too. But an experience, educated myself of what my body can do. There was a day when I just kept myself awake for a day and a half. So this is the kind of workout I've been doing. I've not just been pumping like biceps or something.
Vidya, I also want to talk to you about just generally, I mean, the lockdown. I mean, what do you think the aspect of you has changed the most? And what's the one thing that you learned about yourself the most that you thought, you know what, I'm going to do this now, the lockdown is being lifted?
Now with me, during the lockdown, I was really working on healing people. On my YouTube, I was um, doing reverse breathing, kidney marma. Marma is a part of Kalari Chikitsa. Kalari is the Indian martial art. Kalari Chikitsa means Kalari means the battleground. Chikitsa means the treatment for the battleground. So I've been doing healing through those aspects. So it's been quite nice. I've been interacting with a lot of people worldwide. It's been good.
And what about travel plans? Because I know that a little bit tells me you'll be traveling to the UK soon. So is that going to be happening anytime soon?
Yep. This month or like soon. Within a month for sure.
Is that just a holiday or are you working?
Holiday.
So Vidya, I mean, I want to know, now that you've had a taster of the softer side of things, so are you going to be doing something like that again in future, or are you going to go back and revert to, the dushum side of you?
No, I love the dishum side of me, by the way, and I'll keep doing that. But I really enjoyed this experience, and I really enjoyed the response that I got. Like, you don't really need to be like a trained fighter in a boxing ring to be able to fight for somebody you love. Like if something happened to me, my mom would fight till her death. So this movie has made me experience a side of people who've never been trained to fight, but if they really have to fight, they can fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I really enjoyed that part, and I will keep doing these parts because you don't really need to be a trained fighter. I've been professionally fighting in a ring, and I've seen these boys who fight in a ring. When it comes to standing up for people, they don't.
That's sweet.
So
That's sweet.
yeah.
Let's also talk about Commando, because I know there's fans asking about whether there's going to be a fourth part to Commando. Is that something that's in the offing?
Yeah, we're working on the script and we're working on action. We want to take it to a very different level now. So we're putting a lot of time into it.
I mean, the success of Commando has been something else completely. I mean, I don't think there's been another franchise like this where continuously there's been, year after year or after a couple of years that the film's coming out. How's that kind of been, for you as an actor? I mean, how challenging is it for you to keep making sure that it's a fresh story every time and a fresh character
For me, the thing is to raise the bar of action, because when Commando 1 came in, I was the first guy to do stunts without a cable or a stunt double. And then the fans expected me to just keep going on with that and do something even more different. So then came the time for Commando 3, and I was under great pressure because I know the standards were quite high. And I'm quite glad it worked out. So on Commando 4, for me also, my fitness levels have to I have to keep challenging them. And it's quite cool. I want to just tell you, it's not as difficult as it sounds. Bollywood is the bloody best place in the world. Anybody in the world who aspires to be a part of this industry should come to the city, and it's sold. If you have a talent, it's easy. When I hear things about people, they struggle, there's no such struggle here. Struggle is for rich people to, that word is incorrect. Like when you go to an engineering college for 3 or 5 years, that's not struggle, you're studying yourself, you know what I'm saying? So I really tell people whenever, like when I go to any part of the country, anywhere in the world, it's such an amazing place. If you have a talent, the country needs you.
Vidyut, I mean, it's good that you said that, because obviously Bollywood generally is having a difficult time with the way things have been. So it's nice to hear, especially from yourself, who is not directly, with the whole kind of star kids, you're not related to anyone in the industry. So for you, it's amazing the fact that you're saying that, and it is a nice place to work.
Of course, dude, dreams come true over here. Look at me. I was told that it's difficult. Yes, it is difficult. The people from the inside really don't let you in, that's for sure. They make it difficult. But anyways, who's scared? Who can be stopped? If you don't want to be stopped, nobody will stop you. It's when you give up. And like I tell my niece, she lives, like I said, in Leicestershire, please come here. She's like, no, Mamu. It's like, no, it's so amazing. But you need to have some talent. You just can't wake up in the morning and say, I want to be Shah Rukh Khan. You have to have something that nobody else does. It could be anything. You could be the best cook. You could be the best. So yeah, it's a great place to be.
It certainly sounds amazing. So I'm glad you said that. Especially, we need that kind of change in perception. So I'm glad that you kind of pointed that out. Vidyut, I mean, one thing that I noticed about you is that when I introduced you, just before I introduced you, you were very, you've got this kind of two personas. I know you're an actor at the same time, but there's something very kind of playful and there's fun to you as well. So tell me a bit about your fun side. I think you do your interviews, you do everything that's going to be done in a formal way, but tell me about the fun side to Vidyut Jammwal.
Dude, every side of me is only fun. It's just that people just don't get to see it. I am enjoying every moment. I look at people and I'm like, oh, this is this kind of a person. Or this one is the same boring. You know what I'm saying? So I'm having fun all the time. It's, I started a show called X-Rayed on YouTube. And I started speaking to people who I thought were fit across the globe. In fact, I did an interview with Scott Atkins too. He's an English actor. Um, why I did this was because when I had journalists speaking to me, they asked me ridiculous questions like, what do you eat? How much do you work out? What do you do? And I used to think, this doesn't make me who I am. They're asking me the incorrect questions. So I spoke to my friends internationally who I thought were fit. And I started asking them the questions that I wanted people to ask me. Like, how does it take you to be? Like, I asked Tony Jaa that, what makes you, like, did you know you would be the biggest superstar in the world? That's the question you need to know. He had no idea. But yes, he had a trick. He had like an idea of how he could achieve it. So hence, yeah, man, I'm always in a great state. It depends on like, my art. Like, yeah. I'll tell you a more exciting moment that just recently happened. No, really. So, I'm on the list of these 10 people you should not mess with in the world. I'm like officially the only Indian there. So I watched that video and I sent it to my mom. And my mom watched the video and she called me back. And she's like, I saw the video, that the president of Russia, he's on the list. There's you, there's other people. But you're the weakest. Have you seen yourself how thin you are? So like, Mom, I'm on the list. What are you saying? So she like, I've been seeing your interviews. You've got sunken cheeks. You're so thin. So for me, these kinds of thighs are which can't be compared. It's not the compliments. It's like my mom still thinks I'm weak, like any other mom in the world. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
she doesn't know how many guys want to be you in terms of your body and your body frame. So yeah, she doesn't know that side. But I think it's a mum thing. They're thinking, oh,
it's a
Khandani, you
mom
don't eat.
thing. Oh, tu inna lissa ja pੈ ਗਿਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਹੋਇਆ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ lissa ਮੈਂ ਆ. So it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's great to hear that side to you, because obviously everyone looks at you thinking, wow, amazing structure, everything. But the old family, they've got a different take on it altogether.
Yeah, of course. Moms
It's a
do.
bit, I agree. I mean, mums, isn't it? I mean, I had my mum down here during lockdown. She was telling me the same as well. So yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So what future projects now? Tell me what's going to be happening for you. I mean, what's happening in terms of pipeline?
So I've got like a few movies that I'm ready to roll with. It's just that we just don't know when will this start happening. And I think like the moment this gets a bit eased up, I have a movie that I'm starting, which is again a true life incident. And then I have an action comedy. So everything like everybody else in the world, we're all ready with everything in the arsenal. It's just that we just don't know when does it start.
Right. Okay. And what about any other digital shows? Are you planning on doing anything digitally, seeing as that's the way forward these days?
But not right now because I've got a booked calendar. So I know what I'm doing for the next 2 years. But if something comes up in between, it'll be quite cool.
That's very organized for the next 2 years. What if something amazing comes along in the next 6 months? You're gonna have to wait.
Then you can't. No, you can't do it. There are times like I've sat at home and without work in Bombay, and I used to like be so bored of just sitting at home. And I remember those days. So I promised myself that if there'll be a time when I have no time to sleep or eat, I will not complain. So I never complain. I'm like, bring it on, dude. I want some more. You can't get me down. You cannot contain the container. So I love it. So I don't complain.
Vidyut, I just want to say thank you so much. It has been such a thrill talking to you. Obviously, we've seen you on screen. See you on, in the films that are constantly aired on, on the TV channels, and of course, with Khuda Haafiz as well. So it's great to interact with you. It's always good to put a different side to what we normally kind of see. So Vidyut, I just want to say thank you very much for your time. Also, fans of yours have been messaging as well. So all the Jammwal Lions, is it? So all your Lions out there. So what would you like to say to all your fans out there? What's the last message from you?
I love you. Period.
But Vidyut, I just want to say thank you, man. Look after yourself. Let me know when you are going to be around here in Leicestershire, all right?
I will. God bless you, man.
Thank you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.